Hola, hello. Hey, as you guys might know, I recently completed my equine placement at our Equine Specialist Hospital at the university. So that was over November and December for a month at the end of 2019, and it was absolutely epic. Um, I said to the clinicians there that this was even after the first week, so I did 4 weeks there. After the first week, I told them that I had no interest in becoming an equine vet at all. I had ridden horses when I was younger for, I don't know, 13 years or something. As you can see, so I've always loved horses, have a keen interest in them, but to be a vet for them was something that I was like, nah, I want nothing to do with that. But literally after that first week that I spent on placement, I was like, I could be an equine vet. I still feel at this stage that I wouldn't actively go out searching to become an equine vet because my passions lie in camelids especially, but I would like to go into mixed practice when I first graduate at this stage. But if the opportunity came up and it ended up being a good opportunity for me, I definitely would seriously consider becoming an equine vet and would do it, I reckon. And I think I would actually really love it. So in this video, I thought I would just discuss the basic layout of the rotation, so how it worked on a day-to-day basis, and also a couple of cases that I really enjoyed and learnt from in terms of basic skills that I feel like I am confident enough to go out and perform in the future in practice. So as I said before, it's a 4-week rotation. 2 of those weeks you spend doing the med/repro side of it, and then the other 2 weeks you spend doing a surgery side of it. So there were 12 of us on the rotation, and 6 of us did med first, and 6 did surge first, and then we switched around for the next 2 weeks. I started on med first, med/repro, and my first case was a little foal that had a Rhodococcus equi infection which caused bronchopneumonia. So we were just treating that little foal. It was quite exciting. I mean, starting equine placement with a little foal is great. I think anybody could agree with that. Not the fact that the foal was sick, but just the fact that I got to play with a little foal. That was fun. In the mornings, we started our placement at 7 a.m. and we would pair up and go and do our TPRs. So we would just check temperature, pulse, respiratory rate, as well as your signs of like dehydration, so skin tint, and also your capillary refill time. That looks really funny. Gosh, I'm ugly. Jugular refill, and then check down the legs for any swelling or heat, any signs of lameness, and we'd also have to listen to gut sounds. Basically, we'd do it in a systematic format. So you'd start on the head, work your way around to the back, do the temperature, to the legs, and then do the other side. Didn't really matter in what order you did it, just as long as it was always systematic so that you didn't miss anything out. And we'd fill out charts, and then during the day we'd spend it either treating our horses that were in already. Some required medication every 2 hours. I was on a horse that had a corneal ulcer, and so we were treating that every 2 hours. We'd also work up any new cases that came in during that day. So I said before that my first case was the Rhodococcus equi foal, and I say it was my case because I was the primary care for it. So each student gets assigned a case. You get to do that yourself. With that case, you're expected to do the TPRs at 7 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, and you're expected to write up we use a program called RX Works, so you write up your classic heaps, so your history, your examination, assessment, plan. It's a heap C, so communication is the last one. Then also, because I was on repro, we did mere rectal palpations on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And we also, very excitingly, got to do rectal ultrasounds once we were good at doing the palpations. And I was very excited about that because earlier in November we had a therio prac exam. One of the stations I had to do was ultrasounding of a cadaver uterus. And I had done it once before, and I picked up the ultrasound probe and was feeling around, and I was like, yeah, I can see a follicle and an ovary and all this kind of stuff. I knew what I was looking for. I described it. I couldn't see it, and I didn't know if I actually had it or not. Turns out I had literally picked up the probe and was ultrasounding my own fingers. So I felt like it was a bit of an achievement to be able to say that I have successfully rectally ultrasounded a live mare. I have been able to determine her cervix tone and then determine how edematous the uterus is, and then I found both the left and the right ovaries, and I have been able to find follicles and a corpus luteum and measure the corpus luteum, which is a big achievement for me, and I'm kind of just there like, woo, I can actually do these things. So then when you switch over to do surgery, you also still have your own cases that you're the primary care for. And if you're the primary care for it, it means that you get to go into surgery and scrub up for it. So you can be there to pass the instruments over, and basically you can touch anything that the surgeons say you're allowed to touch. When you're on surgery rotation, you are allowed to go into the surgeries. You have to wear your clean scrubs and you have to put your booties on and your hairnet and your mask and everything, but you're not allowed to go in a certain area or of the horse or touch anything because you're not sterile. When you're on the rotation, so throughout the whole 4 weeks, you have to be on call for 4 weeknights and 1 weekend night, and you also have to work 1 weekend shift, which is a Saturday from 7 till 4 as well. Sometimes you finish earlier on Saturday. You choose between yourselves in the rotation what days work best for you. Anyway, I had been on call 2 weeknights and had nothing, and then the 3rd weeknight I just hopped in the shower and I was like, I feel like I'm going to get a call tonight. I will preface this by saying I had got up at 5:20 that morning because I wanted to read up on the surgery that I was going into that day. And then I stayed late that day because we had a colic case come in and I wanted to see what the surgery was like. I didn't scrub up because I wasn't primary care, but I still wanted to watch it, so I stayed late. So I got home around 6:30, I think, had my dinner, I watched some TV, chilled out and stuff because it had been a long day. And then, yes, I'm in the shower and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to get a call. Anyway, I was like just drifting off to sleep at like 11 o'clock at night, and it was 11:15 and I get this call. Like I was literally about to be asleep and I get this call. I was like, hello. And we had a colic case coming in. So I had to quickly rush, get changed, and I basically just got out of my outfit and now I had to get back in it and rush off to uni. And we had this colic case in that did actually go to surgery. I think the first incision ended up being at 3 o'clock in the morning. But that was quite a cool case for me because I was allowed to do the A-fast ultrasound, so the abdomen and the thorax got to ultrasound that. By the time the horse recovered, it was 7 o'clock in the morning, which is when we started our rotation. Like, that's the normal starting hours of our rotation. So my colleague and I, we quickly wrote up brief dot points about the surgery because when you're on the surgical part of the rotation, you have to write up the surgery report. And then he went home, but I decided that I was far too tired because I had been up for 25 hours, that I decided to have a little snooze in the student room. So I saw all the people about to start their equine rotation. I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. And I had a little nap on the couch in the student room for an hour, and then I drove home and went to sleep. So that was a big day for me. Big day in terms of I learnt a heap. I ended up watching 3 surgeries that day. I feel like everything was clicking for me finally because I was seeing it all in real life and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes sense now. I joked, I was like, if only I had the same sort of click go on prior to my exams, because I think I would have done a lot better. But that's okay, because at least I'm here now, and I've been able to learn this stuff, and I feel so much more confident. So, all in all, I thought equine rotation was amazing. Learnt heaps, and I kind of, like, I genuinely, at the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm exhausted, but I was kind of upset that equine rotation was over, because I would have been so keen to go back and do it again. Yeah, it was just, I learned so much, even just basic things like pulling bloods from the jugular, giving Hendra vaccinations, giving intramuscular vaccinations, sedation, bandaging both of the hoof and distal limb. Worked with horses that had radial nerve paralysis and saw their, like, splint that they had to wear. This video could literally go on and on and on, because I feel like I have learnt so much, and I'm just like, I want to share it all. Speaking of which, I did share a little bit more on my Instagram, so there are a few posts there if you want to go check out exactly what I did. If you enjoyed this video, think about hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget, I do have a video about what I wore to equine placement, as well as what I took in my bag. Keep an eye out for my other videos. There is a few up and coming regarding my EMS small animal placement, and I will be doing a video about what I wear to that, as well as what I take in my bag, as I feel like it's probably helpful for some people. I know it would have been helpful for me, at least, if I'd seen a video of that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching.